Hey guys, welcome back to Community Cares. I'm Dave. I'm the Executive Director here at Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet.
And I'm Chaplain Chaz Blackburn, and I have the honor of being the president of Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet. And today we have a really exciting guest, somebody that I've looked up to as far as podcasts for the last 3 years. And I was super honored to be on his show recently. And I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hello. I am Conor McQuivey. I host a local podcast called Renoites. It was great to have you on the show not that long ago to talk about
a lot of fun.
what you do here at Good Shepherd and the Circle of Life. And it's great to be on your show now, too.
Yeah, well, welcome. Thank you for being on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you are new or newish to the show, we always talk about 3 upcoming events within the community. Today is October 7th, and we are excited to have you on, Connor. Thank you so much. And we always go over these events and just talk about what's happening in the community. And the reason we do that is to encourage you to be a part of what's happening in your local community. It's really easy. I know for me, especially October time when it starts getting a little cooler, to be like, you know, I'd rather be home. I don't want to go outside.
Yeah, hibernation mode starts very soon, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of, it's a lot easier to just not go anywhere. So let's dive into some upcoming events coming up here in the Reno Sparks area. The first one is the Great Italian Festival, and that will be October 12th through the 13th. And yeah, what are your thoughts on the Italian Festival, Chess?
I've actually been. It's a lot of fun. Have you ever gone, Connor?
Yeah, I like all of the events that they do where they shut down Virginia Street, right in front of the casinos. They do the Wing Fest, the Italian Festival. I think there's like a Latin festival also, maybe that just happened or is coming up too.
Is there?
Oh. That I think the Row is putting on, and I always really enjoy those because it gets you kind of out in the street, in the crowds. It brings people downtown, which I think is really fun.
It's always fun to try the different foods too, because they give you smaller portions and you can try different vendors. And so, yeah. Do you like, I know you're a vegetarian.
So my wife's Italian, so she makes awesome pasta.
It's like an eggplant lasagna. You could do it, right?
I've never done that, but yeah, I guess I could.
It's pretty good.
Have you done that? Can you make one?
I love eggplant lasagna.
Eggplant's a weird food.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
No?
It's a weird texture. I feel like it's like goopy in the middle, but then the skin is sometimes kind of like papery or gross. Yeah,
you both looked at me really strange. Yeah, okay.
Eggplant?
You're just thinking like, what's the vegetable?
I mean, I get it. People do like eggplant, but yeah, not for me.
Yeah.
I'll have the regular lasagna, you know?
Yeah, no,
it's true.
Lasagna's good. All those carbs and everything, it's real good for you, right?
Absolutely.
Are you a carb guy, Chaz?
Oh, yeah.
My weakness is pizza. So if they have good pizza, I'll be there.
That's Italian.
I know. And you know, I've been like on a mission. Who's that? What's that guy's name? He's on YouTube and TikTok and Reels. Really popular pizza guy. Barstool Sports. Oh, what's his name? He reviews all the pizza. And I think it's Dave something. But he goes around and he folds a pizza and best New York pizza and all sorts of stuff. Very, very fun. But since I've been seeing his reels and stuff pop up on my feed, I'm like, oh, now I need pizza. And I already have a pizza problem. Yeah. So now it's worse. And so we had, like every weekend we get a pizza. So we tried Pisano's. And are they local? Do you know if Pisano's is local?
I have no idea.
I'm not sure.
I don't know, because I know they have the one in Midtown, and then they just opened one in Sparks, and it was pretty good, but it wasn't like flat or whatever. Do you guys know of any good pizza spots like that? I know Grimaldi's, their pizza's pretty thin, but they're not a local spot though.
There's I think it's called Smiling with Hope or something like that, and it's a local pizza place, and they also have like a big kind of like charity element. I don't know exactly how it works, but I wish that I had looked them up before, because they have really good pizza. It also it was like Yelp's like best pizza or something.
Oh, awesome.
Wow. And yeah, it's like a thin like New York style pizza and really good.
Oh yeah,
I've heard of that.
I don't know where they're located. They might
I have heard of that.
They're off Lakeside.
Yes,
they're off
I looked it up the other day. You sent me something, or somebody sent me something the other day.
They should be on our show.
And then also, and Dopo Pizza is good too. They're in Midtown, right next to Paren. And then I also have. I think they have a spot in the Reno Public Market too. So they got a couple locations.
I like JJ's Pizza.
Classic.
Oh man,
right?
JJ's.
Some honey
and
ranch and, yeah. Jalapenos. The Valdez.
My favorite guilty pleasure pizza right now, it might change. I'm gonna go try those places, so thank you. But my favorite is definitely Pizza Plus. So greasy, it's so bad for you, and they go overboard on the grease and stuff, but it's so tasty.
and wings, and they have the best ranch. I don't know where the ranch it comes from or whatever, but yeah, wings and ranch from Pizza Plus.
My brother used to work there, and he gave me the recipe for it. And I maybe I won't want to get him in trouble or anything.
Yeah, geez.
But it's very bad for you.
I believe it.
There's nothing good in that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to Pizza Plus for a healthy meal. That's not my intention when I walk through the door.
That's what Grateful Gardens is for, right?
Semenza's Pizza we have to shout out to because their garlic knots, if you've never had them, are out of this world. Have you? Off of Neil Road? It's been here like 30 years, you guys. You have to try it. I'm serious. It is like
Chaz looks angry over here.
It is such a classic like Reno pizza spot.
All right.
What's it ccalled?
Semenza's Pizza.
Okay.
It's a hole in the wall, but it is amazing, and their garlic knots.
Great.
Is a killer. So
At Pisano's they had garlic knots that were pretty good. Those are pretty tasty, but it wasn't thin. Like I wanted thin pizza, but I can't find anywhere to get some real good thin pizza. But now I have a few spots. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you for discovering that with me. The next event we want to highlight is an open mic night at 10 Tour Distilling and Brewing. 490 Mill Street is the place to be for that open mic night. I like highlighting those. We've highlighted a couple different open mic nights, but they're always kind of fun. And for me, I have a soft spot for it because I used to always go to those open mic nights and play music with friends and do that kind of thing. So, did you ever do anything open mic?
not really.
No.
I might have done some Slim Shady at karaoke, but
Yeah? Really?
yeah, really, yeah.
Drop a couple bars for us.
Oh, yeah. He says no.
Sweaty. These weak arms are heavy. There's vomit on the sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He's nervous. I could go on and on.
Sounds good.
What ties in with the Italian festival? There you go. Mom's spaghetti.
Yeah, dude. I love open mic nights, and Tentor, they do a lot of cool things in the community. Great beer. I like it. And they do a lot of good.
So is it open mic for just music, or do they do like comic routines as well?
Yeah, the open mic is for anything pretty much, performing. I used to do, where was that? What was that called? Java Jungle.
Oh,
is where I always hung out with friends, and we would always go down, and back when it all looked like a jungle. Mm-hmm. It used to be a lot different over there. Nika, my wife, is always like, it's not the same. I love the way it was. But progress happens and things change, and it's okay, Chaz. Chill out, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Chill out.
You seem like over amped up today.
I know. I just drank an energy drink, and
man.
now I'm going after coffee.
Coffee on top of that.
I didn't sleep well, so.
I wonder why.
I know, right? So the last event we want to highlight is something calmer. It's the Riverside Farmers Market. The date is 10/20, and it is from 8 to 1 at Idlewild Park, and they do it regularly. So this is not the only time they do this event. It's a pretty regular event I think it's monthly, and it's beautiful on the river there.
It's weekly. It's every Sunday.
Oh, is it weekly?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, no, it's a great thing, but we like to highlight those kind of things too that are regular, because just because they're regular doesn't mean that those events or those things don't matter as much, right? Because people are going out there, vendors are out there, they're selling fruits, and I wouldn't mind making a fresh salad over there. Yeah.
Best vegetables, yeah.
So you go to the Italian festival, you go get some pizza. Or get a recipe for pizza, then you go get your ingredients over at the farmer's market.
There you go. Make a home pizza.
There you go.
My sister makes a pretty bomb home pizza. It's pretty good.
Your older sister?
Yeah, my older sister.
I met her for the first time at the fundraiser.
Oh,
and I was so surprised because I instantly knew she was related to you because you guys look a lot alike.
We look a lot alike.
Yeah, I was really surprised.
Yeah, I got all the good attractive genes.
Yeah.
So.
Oh. It's okay, buddy.
Oh, thanks, buddy. So, if this is your first time listening, and just to let you know, we also are everywhere. So if you're on Facebook, we're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you get your podcast. All you have to do is type in the Community Cares Podcast and join the conversation live, always on Facebook. We get a lot of interaction on Facebook, just people popping in and talking about what we're doing in the community. So thank you guys for making that possible, for us to be public, and for people searching things to do in the community and learn more about Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet. That's all we do. We talk about Good Shepherd for 30, 40 minutes. That's kind of weird.
And our guest or resource, right?
Yeah, I just don't know why a couple thousand people listen to that. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I did want to give a shout out to there's also in Sparks, there's a farmer's market off of Pyramid Highway, and Washoe County is giving out vouchers to seniors to get free vegetables there. So I just wanted to give that a shout out. It reminded me of that. I know it can be really tough times for some of the seniors, and it's important to be able to eat healthy and get that nutrition. So you can go to the Washoe County website, which you now work at, right?
That is true.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I started with the county a few months ago.
Wow.
It's really exciting to be kind of part of what helps our, community operate. Part of my job is basically just fixing small problems all day. So it's kind of nice being a part of it. I talk a big game about doing things that help the community, like participating a lot, and it's nice to have a job that actually lets me walk the walk too.
It's probably pretty cool to see behind the scenes too of what takes place, because there's so much more. People are quick to be negative about the government, but they don't see all the ins and outs of what it takes to operate that.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of work. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, I'm a little nervous because this guy over here has done way more podcasts than we ever have. We're pretty
true.
green still over here.
It's not a contest. There's enough room for plenty of podcasts.
Yeah, but you're like local popular, man. It's kind of cool.
I am grateful. Yeah, I've been doing the show for 3 years, so it's taken. It's like gradual that more people find the show. Again, over 3 years, I still meet people all the time who live in town, who listen to podcasts, who have never heard of it. So There's always more work to do as far as reaching people and learning, getting better at things like editing and stuff like that. But it's been a great process. I didn't have any background in audio or anything, so learning all the time still.
Aren't we all?
Right?
And your podcast show is really kind of one of a kind for this area as far as the long form. And I really like that because it really gives you an opportunity to get to know the guest on a level that really it's almost impossible on other shows.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that I kind of chose that format is I didn't think that existed in Reno, that kind of longer form media.
Yeah.
We have all the local news stations have tons of people on them for these 5-minute type segments.
Right.
So you get a lot of, a little overview of tons and tons of people just by watching the local news. But I think that you learn so much more from a little bit longer conversation. So most of my episodes are about an hour, and even our local political figures, you might only see them on the news when there's something's opening or there's some news piece, but being able to sit down and kind of hear their story and why they do what they do and why it matters, I think is really interesting, and I'm glad to be able to bring that to the community, give that opportunity.
Well, my hat's off to you because about 3 years, right?
Yeah, 3 years.
That's
it's
a long time.
150-ish episodes, something like that.
Wow.
It's a lot, yeah.
Well, speaking of episodes, this is our 60th episode, sir.
Congratulations.
That's a lot.
Congrats.
Yeah.
60. Well, we do it every week, and we've had a lot of great guests on, and just having all the community coming around and coming into Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet, talking about what we're doing in the community, and then trying to have a conversation on how can we help even more people. Our mission is to be the change that you want to see in the world, right? And so having those conversations and then creating action with that, right? So, I was explaining to you a little bit earlier about our microcloset expansion project and what we're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of those conversations and stuff actually happened because of this show, right? It's what are small things we can do together and brainstorm and maybe tweak things, and it's crazy the amount of people that we've been able to talk about those things with here with the show, and that launches into the next thing. Or, why don't you connect with Eddie House? Why don't you connect with these other organizations that are doing a different thing in the community, and maybe they need support with clothing, right?
Yeah.
So, because it's in Karma Box, for instance, Grant was on a few weeks ago, and we had a conversation, and a few
months ago.
When he was on, we just had that conversation and he had no idea. Had the conversation of how can we work together, how can we do things together, and now he has workers from Karma Box come to us and pick up clothing for individuals that need it most, right? And so it's all about how are we all working together? How are we collaborating in a way that just creates a better city for all of us, right?
Yeah, I think that if you have the ability or the skills to talk to people and to communicate well and to be out and about and interact with people a lot, that is a really valuable thing, because a lot of people aren't as comfortable in that type of environment, aren't as outgoing, aren't as confident on a microphone or in like a media environment.
Sure.
So if you have that ability and you can bring people together and you can share those conversations, I think that's a really like a generous thing to give to our community, is making those connections, because without you, they might not get made.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I think our generation, if we're honest, the younger generation, and we won't get into politics, but it's such a divisive time where people are so divided that it's important to be able to have differences but still communicate and still be able to get to know people. I think I heard you say on one thing, I saw one of your posts, something about, getting to know people before and hearing their story first or something. And it's important to be able to get to know people and to hear their stories, and stories matter.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that, everyone is so more complex than we think that they are. And in the world of our like political media, it's very, very easy to just reduce people to, you're this one thing, right? It's like based on your political view or how old you are or what you dress like or what you look like.
Sure.
We pigeonhole people really, really easily. And I can't do that like with my show, right? Because I have to talk to people for an hour. You will get to know someone whether you want to or not in a conversation like that. And I'm sure same thing for you guys, right? Yeah. And so I just encourage people to talk to people that are different than you, and it doesn't have to be about the contentious issues, right? You can set all that stuff aside and just talk about the TV shows you like or whatever. Just build small connections with people who are different than you. It really does kind of change the way that you interact with people and see people, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really helps you grow. And so why don't you tell us all about Renoites?
Yeah, like where did you get the idea? Tell us about Conor.
Oh my gosh, so many things. Well, it started as a COVID project, basically. So my other job that I had until recently was hosting trivia nights at local bars and restaurants for DJ Trivia, which was fantastic. I had my boss, Vicky Musney, is amazing. She was on Renoites a couple times. And so that was my normal job. But during the pandemic, bars are closed. That means no trivia nights. So I was one of those people that basically had all the time in the world. And it was also when everyone was learning how to use Zoom. And so it was really easy to do remote interviews, right? So,
right.
So I've always kind of wanted to do some kind of podcast project. I love talking to people. I think I'm just a naturally curious person. Like whenever I meet someone new, I'm like, okay, cool. You have to tell me your whole story now. I've always wanted to do something like that. I've done a lot of traveling, and I thought about doing like a travel podcast.
That's cool.
But it was, a great opportunity to do something local, something that didn't exist yet. I had the time for it. Technologically, it was relatively easy because of Zoom.
Right.
I launched in March of 2021, and the first year I did 34 episodes in a row without any break. So like an episode a week for 34 weeks, which is a lot. And I mean, you guys know because you do a weekly show too.
But especially for a long form, though.
Yeah, with editing and finding guests. Like that first year, there were many times where it would be like episodes come out on Tuesday. It would be like a Thursday afternoon. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I gotta find somebody to be on the show. Like, who can record with me on Saturday so that I can edit this thing and get it out on Tuesday? But yeah, I did that the first year. Then I kind of broke it into seasons. So now I tend to do about 10 episodes in a season, and then I take a break for 5 or 6 weeks, catch my breath.
That's healthy.
And plan another season, and then kind of get guests lined up again. And it's been great. The ability to connect with so many different people And like the personal growth that I have gotten from it, just from hearing what people do, I've learned so much more about our community, how different parts of our community kind of intersect and connect with each other. Reno's not a very big town, right? Like, we're a mid-sized city. It's relatively easy, I think, to get connected and get involved if you just make a little bit of effort to get to know people. So it's been really, really rewarding. Yeah, really fun.
That's crazy. Yeah. Just a COVID project, huh?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've always kind of wanted to do something, but that's what really created the opportunity. And then once I got going on it, I haven't stopped because it's so much fun. I just enjoy it so much that, I don't see myself stopping doing this unless I get really busy with other projects. I'm never going to run out of people to talk to in Reno.
True.
I'm never going to run out of interesting topics because there's always something interesting to talk about.
Yep.
I think there's always going to be some kind of demand for it too. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going anywhere. People want to know what's going on in the community. We want to learn about each other. So, I plan on just keeping on doing it until I don't want to anymore, which so far hasn't happened.
What about the name? I love the name. What made you come up with that?
Well, we're from Reno. We're Renoites.
Yeah.
And I wanted a name that was like simple, that was one word, that was memorable, that was very clear about what the show is. This is an interview show about Renoites. Yeah. So I try to make sure that every episode includes a pretty significant element of like personal profile. You're not just here to talk about your organization or your business. I want to know who these guests are, right?
Yeah.
Like what drives them, what motivates them, why they do what they do. Because that's a big part of it, is I'm introducing this person to our community, is the way that I think of it. So yeah, just having it be called Renoites, because really you scroll down the list and these are a bunch of Renoites that you can get to know in an hour. Yeah.
I love it. I really enjoyed your recent episode with Beth. I've met Beth many times, worked with her in different capacities, but
Beth Smith, the president of the school board.
Yes. To hear that she actually, why she got involved in the beginning was really interesting, and I had never heard that story.
Yeah, so the bees, right?
Yeah.
For folks who haven't listened to that episode, Beth talked about how when her kid was in school, she went and they have this big board outside the classroom with like a bee for each student. There was like 40 something. There was just way too many bees for this classroom, and she had this realization like, this is not okay, we got to do something, and got involved, and now she's the president of the school board. She's really involved, and just so dedicated to what she's doing. It was really fantastic to get to talk to her at length about that.
I love that. It's not just like you said, it's not what you're doing, it's why you're doing it as well.
100%.
So.
Yeah,
that's hard though, like to actually everyone has a cell phone in their pocket. Everyone has a supercomputer in their pocket. But to actually go out and do it and do something with it is something that most people won't do. That's the reality. Most of us are consumers, and so it's easier to consume and not focus on what can I add to the world, right?
Well, that's one of the things I love about doing an interview show is with people who are doing things, is I get to hear the stories of what people are doing. Right? There's a lot of podcasts that are, let's like say like all talk and no like action really. It's just like people chatting about whatever. And I'm not a huge fan of that, right? I don't want to tune in to listen to whatever. I want to tune in to hear what people are doing and what matters. So being able to have a show like that and all of my guests are actively doing things is really kind of inspiring, that every week I get to be like, oh yeah, here's another person who's like really into what they're actually doing. I really like that about it, that there's kind of an action focus. Everyone's doing something.
And that matters a lot. That action focus really matters. And I know it's, like we talked about earlier at the beginning of the show, it's really easy to just sit around and do nothing. That's easy. It really is. To be able to actually be active, like, I'll be honest, today, guess what I wanted to do? Nothing. I wanted to do nothing.
And that's okay too. I mean,
right. It's okay to rest.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. But there's times to rest, and then there's times to push and move the needle forwards, whether you want to or not, for the good of humanity and the people around you.
Yeah.
Truly. I'm having a baby in a couple months, and so November, well actually I guess it's next month. This is October 7th. I'm having a baby next month, and Do you think I wanted to clean out that room that we're going to turn into a nursery right away? No, I didn't want to do it. But I did it for the good of my family, for the good of the people there. Do you think necessarily all the time I want to do a long form show with this guy?
What do you mean? You originally, so check this out. He was like, we should do this podcast. And I was like, that sounds good. What do you think? Once a month? He's like, every week.
Right.
I was like, yeah, okay.
No one to blame but yourself, Dave.
You're right. But still, there are some days where I just don't want to do it. But to be able to know, like, whether what we want sometimes isn't always what we need. Right?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times what we want isn't what we need. And balancing that and understanding why we have the desires or the cravings in life that we do is important, I think. And that's a lot of self-discovery and figuring out, okay, what's actually good for me. It's probably not good for me to have McDonald's every single day or pizza every single day. But just because I want it every single day doesn't mean it's good for me to have it every single day.
Can I tell you what I need and want is to buy baby Stevie a second loud toy from Uncle Chaz.
Absolutely not.
Yes.
I
have some great ideas for loud toys.
Mean.
That's
mean.
Mean, cruel. But yeah, I completely agree with you. Action really matters. And the people that make things happen in the community a lot of times don't want to do what they're doing, but they strive for it and they know that it needs to be done
I
in
think
those moments. And that's what separates people, right?
Yeah, I think that key, knowing what matters and that what you're doing matters, that is really motivating. And the times where I've had less motivation for the show, sometimes I just, I'll get feedback or compliments, or someone will reach out and say, oh, hey, I listened to this, and it's an episode maybe from months ago that I have totally forgotten about, I haven't thought about for a while. And someone will say, oh, I just listened to your episode with so-and-so, and it was so great. I'm like, oh, wow. Like,
that's inspiring.
I guess it does actually matter. Like, those little reminders that what you're doing matters to people. That is so motivating. It means a lot, I think, to get feedback like that.
And if anybody's listening out there and you're thinking about doing something, we just want to encourage you. Just take the plunge and do it. It's so rewarding.
100%.
Like Nike's ad. Just
do it.
That was a great advertisement. That was brilliant.
It was.
Sold
I like the one that says it's like the rib cook-off with the rib to just do it.
Rib cook-off. So yeah,
he's a vegetarian, so he does not like the rib cook-off.
No, it's not. It's not very fun.
That's okay.
Not for me. I like the sauces. Actually, I do like Famous Dave's a lot.
Yeah.
They have a great veggie burger, and so I'll put the really, because I like hot sauces. I love hot sauces, so I'll put the really, really spicy barbecue sauce on it. Delicious.
Nice.
Yeah. That's good, though.
Is that not why you go to Famous Dave's?
No, but now you can go with us. That's good. Maybe that'll be our next board meeting.
Oh, yeah? Famous Dave's? Well, so anything more? Where can people find the show, Renoites?
And support you as well, because I know you do have like a club, right? On Facebook?
Yeah, I have a Patreon, so you can listen to the show basically anywhere you get podcasts. I've tried to make it as accessible as possible, so it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on. You can go to Renoites.com and just listen to it on a web page. So basically anywhere. If you Google Renoites, it comes up in 10 different places.
Yeah.
So I made it a point to make sure it's really easy to find, because I think that's important. Wait, what was the other question? Where do people find it? And
how they can support you.
Oh, yeah. So
that's important for a local podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, I have a Patreon. I've never tried really hard to monetize the show really aggressively. A lot of podcasts have ads and sponsors and are trying really hard to make as much money as possible. This has started off as, again, like just a pandemic project. It's never really been a true business that I've dedicated energy into growing as a business. But I do have a Patreon. So Patreon's a website that creatives use to let people support them directly. So you can sign up for, I think I have levels from $3 a month, so that's like $1 an episode. So if you,
it's great.
Yeah, if you listen to the show and you're like, oh yeah, this is worth $1, or just kind of to show some support for a small dollar amount, you can sign up. It's $3 a month just to say, hey, good job.
It's great.
And then it goes up to $20 a month. I have a few people who just really have the resources and the ability to support something that they think matters for the community. So I've got a handful of people who throw in $20 a month.
That's awesome.
So it's nice because it helps offset some of the costs of the show, right? it doesn't pay for my time or anything, but it does help pay for, I have an, editing software that I use.
Sure.
I have web hosting that I have to pay for. So there's these ongoing expenses, and I'm very grateful that there's enough support, financial support from listeners to make it so that I'm not, coming out of pocket hundreds of dollars every month.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and honestly, anyone listening that has means, please support Renoites.
Patreon.com/Renoites.
Great, yeah. And you're doing great work, and whatever we can do to spread the word with our small audience.
Well, this is great. Like I really love being able to go and talk about what I do. So I did the Our Town Reno podcast with Nico.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
a while back. Got to talk about it on there. So I just appreciate the opportunity to reach new audiences and to talk about what I do, because obviously I'm super into it, so I never get bored of like talking about how much I enjoy it. So
I saw you on Colloid with Katie. It was a few months ago, or a month and a half ago.
Yeah. That was a while back, but it was great because I had never done like video stuff. Like this is also a video podcast, which is different because my show's audio only.
Okay.
I don't want to deal with it's just video editing. It's more work. It's a whole nother set of things. You got to worry about what you look like. Your guests have to worry about what they look like.
I know you see me. I'm like, but then you see me like moving the sign a little bit. You're like,
there's just
Dave.
There's just like more to think about, I guess.
Yeah.
So I had never been on the news before. I had never, even been in like the news studio. So it was a different experience for me.
Cool.
But super fun. And Katie is amazing. She's so much fun. She has such positive energy.
Oh yeah.
Her show is fantastic. I wish that I had her job because she gets to do this. She gets to do this like 5 days a week. Does she do every day, I think?
Yeah. I think so.
Oh yeah.
5 days a week,
so she gets to basically do similar to what I'm doing, but on a much bigger scale, where she gets to meet more people. She gets to be more connected daily with what's going on.
Sure.
She gets to share more. She gets to show, there's like pictures and videos and things of the people that she has on the show.
100%.
It seems like a blast, and she is just so friendly. It's so comfortable to be on the show. It was a really great experience.
I love seeing like local podcasts getting on the main news outlets because I just saw a thing on LinkedIn, and it was a study about how podcasts are growing and 12% more people are watching podcasts. And so they really see it as the future because the younger generations are super interested in it. So I love that.
Yeah, I don't think podcasts are going anywhere. I think we're still in kind of the early days of, I think there's kind of these like boom and bust cycles of different types of media. And I think there was a moment where everyone wanted to have a podcast, right?
Yep.
And I think that that's kind of fading a little bit, where not everyone thinks that they should have a podcast or does want to have a podcast. But I think so many people still get information from audio. You get so much more from hearing a conversation than maybe from reading. A lot of people won't read a long article, but they'll listen to a long podcast.
That's true.
Yep.
You're very, very true.
Yeah, having something for everyone, I think, is really important.
Well, I've had fans or people that are listening that are like, "Oh, I know Dave. We're friends now," and I'm like, "Wait, why are we friends?" And it's because the podcast. I listen to podcasts all the time, and a podcast is just it's so personal. It really is, because you kind of hear what it's like to have a conversation with that individual, right? And I know the podcast I regularly listen to, I feel connected to those people in a lot of ways. It's especially like I say or other things. It's not polished all the time. It really isn't, but it's like having a real conversation with us as individuals, right? And to be able to sit down with all the different people, the 50 something people we've sat down with here in the studio, because not every week did we have a guest, but we have gotten to know so many people in the community as well. And so bringing the community together, working together in the community is so vital for the future of Reno Sparks. I really believe that, especially with all the people coming in from out of state, and how the city's growing, and more and more people don't realize how close knit this community is until you come from out of state, or you get to know someone from out of state, and then you start having conversations with them. Then it grows, and then that network keeps evolving and changing and moving. And because for us at Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet, when I came on, we were this close to closing as an organization, and I started having conversations with people about Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet, and that's kind of where this podcast came from, was how can we have longer form conversations with people and talk about Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet and their nonprofits and community resources and stuff. And the reality is what it did was it helped us create longer form conversations, have clearer thoughts on how we can work together in the community, and it just started building and building and building. And that's what we need to do more of in the community, is have longer form conversations for these people that are coming in that want to be integrated for the community, right?
Yeah.
And
yay for podcasts.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, in case you can't tell, we like podcasts here. No, one of my hopes is that if people do move to Reno, and this has happened a few times where people are new to Reno and they say, oh, your show really helped me kind of like get the lay of the land or help me understand what this place is about. So I really love the idea that I'm also creating kind of a permanent like record and story of what Reno is right now. So if anyone is moving to Reno, they can scroll through. They don't have to listen to every episode. There's 150, but if they want to scroll through and listen to like an episode with the mayor, an episode with a couple of different nonprofits, a couple arts organizations, you know, I've had like the Sierra Arts Foundation. I did one with the Generator. So like there's different people, organizations, and if you listen to maybe like 10 episodes of Renoites, you might come out of that feeling like, oh shoot, I know this place, I know these people, I have a better understanding. So I think I like that I'm creating something that will continue on and people can always find and learn about what's going on here.
It's a cultural legacy, man.
That's my hope.
I love it.
yeah, those people that come from out of town that don't have any connection to the community can feel connected through Renoites and Community Cares podcast and all the different ways to get connected throughout the city. That was one of the things why we started Classy Bird Vlogs, my wife and I, was a lot of people just didn't know there was stuff to do in the city. And we'd get that comment on our videos all the time. Oh, there's nothing to do in Reno. I'm like, we have hundreds of videos about events and other things going on in the city. Yearly, there's always something new. There's always something new happening.
Well, I love that you do events on your show, because my show is less newsy and less current eventsy. I try to make it less of what's happening this week and more of what's happening in general. But I really like that you do events on your show, because there's always so much going on, and I think that helps people come back to see like, hey, what's coming up in the community. I think that's like a really value add to your show for sure. Like anyone can listen to it, even if they don't care about the nonprofit stuff.
Right,
I know there's a lot of value in that, but for people who just want to hear what's going on and learn about events, it's great for that.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for being here.
Yes,
I really appreciate it. And if you want to learn more about Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet, please visit getclothes.org. We give away over $70,000 worth of clothing every single month for free to the people that need it most. And our goal is to continue expanding with our micro closet expansion project and keep moving forwards and keep helping even more people throughout the community. So always helping more and more people. Our numbers are rising. The last couple weeks, we actually had 100 people here on each of our open days, and that's in a 4-hour window. So there's a lot of need in the community right now. There really is.
This is my first time here, and when I walked in the door, it's packed today.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
It's really neat to see all the different demographics and age groups and just families. I mean, it helps the entire community, and that's what I love.
Yeah.
All right, so before my brain short circuits, let's finish this episode, huh?
So go ahead, do your favorite thing.
And listen to, so Chaz was on Renoites not that long ago. So if you want to learn more about Good Shepherd Clothes Closet, we had a longer conversation that was about kind of the history and all the different things they do. So to learn more, definitely check that out too, because it was a really great conversation.
Renoites.com, correct?
Yeah, Renoites.com, or just Google Renoites. It'll come right up.
Brilliant. Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being a part of this conversation with us. We are normally live every single Monday at 5:45 p.m. So thank you for being a part of this journey with Chaz and I, talking to all sorts of people in the community. We help 700 people a month, no matter what. We're asking you to come alongside and help one. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Take care, guys.